Welcome back. Among new rule changes to the 2023 MLB season, the league decided to add a pitch clock, limiting amount of time pitchers and batters have in between each pitch. We got to see this league-wide in spring training, and games averaged a half an hour shorter than the spring games last year. I am joined by Jordan Ziegler and Caleb Kalcich to debate whether or not they are in favor of this new change. Jordan, how do you feel about the pitch clock?
Personally, I like it. I think it's a good thing for the MLB because it makes the games a lot faster. And as an avid baseball fan myself, I perfectly enjoyed watching games last year. But unfortunately, I'm not the majority of the audience. The majority of the audience gets bored. They get kind of annoyed with the amount of time in between pitches. The average game time in 2022 is 3 hours and 3 minutes, which is 24 minutes longer than the average game time in 1985, which is about the peak of MLB's viewership. So I think with everything being said, one of the main issues in terms of MLB's viewership declining is how long games are taking, and this has substantially decreased game times.
I mean, in reality, the concept is, I think it's a good concept for the MLB, but I just think the way it is right now is not good. I just think it's too fast, the time they're limiting on the batters. I mean, you've got 20 seconds maybe. In reality, it's 12 because they kind of shut it down with 8 seconds to go if you're not ready. And then, you get automatic strikes and balls, which I think is just something you don't want to get the game going to, especially like a meaningful game. Imagine that's a playoff game and then you lose based off an automatic strike. That's going to cause a lot of problems. I think the concept can be good. I just think as it is right now, it's just not good for baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I think ninth inning, you could probably make an argument for turning the pitch clock off. I don't have a problem with that. But, a majority of the time, players are still getting used to it. We see in spring training that, there's automatic strikes and balls being called, but players are getting used to it. It's already been implemented in the minor leagues, and we haven't seen any games in that way. Every minor league coach and player that's been talked to about it says they love it. Hits are going up, stolen bases are going up. There's more balls in play. There's more action. Even the first day of minor league baseball on ESPN, or not minor league, spring training baseball on ESPN this year, viewership was up 29% from 2021 when ESPN last broadcasted the games. So we're seeing viewership already go up in spring training. The regular season hasn't even happened. So it's had an overall net positive. And we see in the postseason or in late game situations, sometimes, there was a great video comparing side by side a whole half inning that got played in spring training and the time it took for one singular pitch in the 2016 NLCS. That's absurd. If a whole pitch is taking as long as a half inning, even with a pitch clock, something needed to be done about it, and that's why I view this as a good thing.
No, I agree. There was times in the past where it was absurd the amount of time innings took. And I do think the pitch clock is going to fix that. I think it's a good idea. I just think 15 and 20 seconds, depending on runner on base or not, is just, I think, too short amount of time. Maybe you go 25 and 30. It's still limiting them. It gives you more time to get in the box and get ready. But on the other side, we're seeing the World Baseball Classic right now that has none of the rule changes in what we just put in. And no one's complaining about the time on the games. Now, that being said, some of the MLB guys are already used to the new rules, so they're kind of getting ready themselves that way. But no, I haven't seen anyone complain about the time that those games have been taking. So,
that's fair, but I have seen the World Baseball Classic is averaging close to 4 hours on some of these games. They're really long. But another thing is the World Baseball Classic is a playoff atmosphere. There's 162 Major League Baseball games, and I'm one of those weird people that probably watches 140 of them. But I'm in half the percentage of the population. Most people aren't watching them, and most people really aren't watching them if they're taking 3.5, 4 hours. No one's going to watch all of that. They're going to watch the World Baseball Classic games because it's playoff. It's single elimination. It's the best players in the world competing for the World Cup of baseball. It's a different comparison than a Tuesday night game in the middle of July when the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Chicago Cubs are playing each other. No one cares about that game. No one wants it to go 3.5 hours, but more people are tuning in if it's 2 hours and 40 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just think baseball is one of those sports that it's unique that it's not timed. However long a game takes is based on what's going on in the game. I think that's what makes baseball different. Now, people don't like it because it takes forever. For people that are just casual sports fans, not dedicated baseball fans like you and I are. But I don't know. I think in the future, I think it'll get better. I think that now it's just because it's new. It's just not, I don't know, people are don't like change very often, and they're messing with their sports or whatever. I don't know. I think eventually it'll get to the point where this won't even be a discussion anymore. It'll be fine. So.
Yeah, I fully agree. It's been implemented in college. It's been implemented in the minor leagues. It's been implemented at pretty much every single level of high-class baseball except for the major leagues. And not only has no one had any problems with it, a lot of players and coaches have actually praised what it's done for the game. I mean, it could just be a coincidence, but injuries in the minor leagues went down with the pitch clock. So overall, everything we've seen in experimentation with the MLB pitch clock has had a net positive, and that's why I think it's a good thing for the game of baseball. But we're going to close out our show today. One final debate. We're going to talk about the underdogs and who we have left for March Madness. What 6th seed or lower could make the Final Four and win the national championship, coming up after the break.